everyone, my name is Bhaviksha. Welcome back to another video. In this video, we'll be looking at past perfect tense. So let's go. As usual, we'll start the session by the definition of past perfect tense. Okay, past perfect tense indicates a past action which is completed before another past action. I think you guys didn't get that much about this definition in that past perfect tense. So we'll again go through, but not the same explanation. Okay, I'll use an example so you may understand more. But I'll use the timeline. Okay, for making it shortly. And before going to the shortly explained, I'll give you an introduction to the structure, a basic structure of past perfect tense. Okay, let's see. Okay, the structure of past perfect tense is subject plus had for past perfect tense. That means in this tense, the helper will be had, no matter which subject it is. I, you, we, they, he, she, and it. Okay. Now, plus another verb, not like a verb, is past participle, which is also known as verb 3. Okay, in verbs there are like three forms of them. Okay, one is verb 1, which is present, verb 2, which is past, and verb 3, which is past participle. For example, I am taking we'll take as eat. Okay, eat in the present, eat in the verb 2, which is the past. In past participle we would say eaten, which is also known as future. Okay, now that's used for, we'll not go into that deeply, but I'll be explaining them in while we move on. Okay, let's move on with the shortly explained definition. For this one, I'll be using the help of a timeline which I already told you earlier, and for this example, for making it too easier, I'll have an example for you. Okay, and the example is, when he arrived to the train station, the train had left. Okay, for this one, I'll be using two tenses for making past perfect. Okay, that sounds like a bit of some same different from the other tenses, right? Those two tenses which I add plus or make them together, we take a past perfect. Okay, but in that also we use past perfect. Okay, the thing is, when he arrived to the train station, that happened second. What happened the first? Yes, the train had left. Okay, there are two actions. Okay, one action which is already completed and another action which is also completed. That means there are two past actions, right? So for this one, the second past action will show them into a past simple, and the second one, okay, we write a comma or just continue the line with a past perfect tense. Okay, instead of just writing the train left, we use just had. Just place that had. Okay, over here, what is the subject? Yes, it is it. Okay, the replacing is a pronoun. Okay, now no need to go in that deeply. Let's move on. Just see. Okay, when he arrived to the train station, this is a past simple. How may you say? How? Yes, we use arrived. We use ed. Okay, so that arrived is a past simple. And where is the past perfect near? Yes, the train had left. That's because how come it is a past perfect? Yes, that's because we added had into that. Okay, before the past participle, which is left. Okay, let's move on. Okay, now let's move on with the structure one. Okay, there are like 4 types, but let's move on with the first type and then go to the last type. First, the last. Okay, that will make it easier. Okay, the first form is a positive sentence. The structure for them is literally the same from the basic structure which we earlier studied. okay, which is just simple, which is subject plus had plus past participle, which is also known as verb 3. Okay, let's move on with the second form. The second form is negative. How will you write it in a negative form? Just like a slight changes, okay? We just add not. How will we add not? Let's see the structure. Okay, subject plus had not. Actually, for this past perfect tense, we basically use most of the time hadn't, but you can also say had not plus past participle, which is also known as verb 3. Okay, let's move on with the third form. The third form is a question sentence. Okay, how will is the structure in that? Okay, had plus subject plus past participle, also known as verb 3, and a question mark. Of course, for every question, if you want to know them like a question, we just change some things from the positive sentence and just add a question form instead of like a full stop. Okay, let's move on with the structure. With the fourth one, it is WH question. Okay, for this one, we'll see the structure for them first, and then let me more explain deeply what is a WH question. Okay, let's move on with the structure first. WH word plus had plus subject plus past participle. Okay, what is basically a WH question? A WH question is like you say a more in if you when you want to ask a more informative question, you use this form. Okay, a WH word, you may say like there is many words starting with WH word. Okay, that's like a question word, which is also known as a question word. Okay, the WH words are when, where, what, how. Okay, maybe there are more, but these are the basic WH words. So let's move on. Let's move on with the examples when we know the structure of it and when we know the definition of it. Okay, let's move on with the positive one. I had played football. Okay, over here we're making it as a past perfect how. Yes, that is had. How will we make it into a negative sentence? I hadn't played football. Okay, how will we say it in a question sentence? A yes or no type. Like, had I played football? I can answer with yes, I had, or no, I hadn't. Okay, let's move on with the WH question, a more informative question. Where had I played football? Because there are many places to play football, right? Let's move on with the second example. They had celebrated his birthday. Okay, that's how you say it in a positive sentence. What if they didn't play their celebrate his birthday? We say like they hadn't celebrate his birthday. So sad, right? Let's move on with the questions type and yes or no type. Had they celebrated his birthday? We can answer this question as yes, they had, or no, they hadn't. Okay, how if you want to like say it in a more informative question, like which is also known as WH question, how will we say that? How had they celebrated his birthday? There are many ways to celebrate their birthday to anyone's birthdays, right? So that's like a more informative question. Let's move on with the third example. She had made coffee. That's how you say it in a positive sentence. What if she did not make any coffee? We would say like she hadn't made coffee. Okay. Let's move on with the question type. Yes or no type. Okay. Had she made coffee? We can answer this as yes, she did had, or no, she hadn't. Okay. Let's move on how we will say it in a more informative questions. When had she made coffee? Because there are many types time of the day to make coffee, right? At the morning you can drink, at the tea time you can drink, that means at the evening, sometimes even at night. Okay, never mind. Let's move on. As we've come to the end of our session, I'll have an activity so that you may recap on past perfect tense. Okay, let's move on with the answers. Okay, for the first question, it had rain. Is there any mistakes? Just take your time. Okay. Yes, there do is a slight mistake. How may I ask? I told you the form should be in subject plus had. Yes, it's so far good. But I said past participle, which is also known as verb 3. But this is not the verb 3, it is verb 1. It is in rain. So we have to go for the form of in a past participle form. Let's see the answer. It will be like it had rained because of past participle of rain is rained. Okay, let's move on with the second question. We had invited them. There is a mistake in there, right? It doesn't even make sense. What is it? Yes, it is. We had invited them. Okay. Now, what is the mistake? There's the same mistake. It's not in the past participle form. The verb is not in the past participle form. Right? Look at the question clearly. Yes, it doesn't have D, right? So that's the mistake. Okay. We should add past participle after had, the helper verb for past perfect tense. Let's move on with the third one. John had go to school. That doesn't even make any sense, right? Let's see what is the mistake here. It is John had gone to school. Okay, that's the go is past participle of go is gone. Go, went, gone. Okay, let's move on. Birds had fly in the sky. That doesn't make any sense. Again, what's the mistake here? It is the birds had flown in the sky. Okay, that's the past participle of fly. So as we've come to the end of our session, I hope you understand what is a past perfect tense. Okay, hope you understand when to use it, the structure of it, the definition of it, and you had like an quiz or a activity to recap and make store that tense in your mind. So let's meet together in the next video. So bye for now.